or its advertisers.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to this week's edition of On the Map. Straight talk across the Narrows. It's going to be 2 hours of uninterrupted talk radio. We're here with you on the Eastern Caribbean's only powerhouse, Von Radio. And we're so happy that you could join us this evening. If you are following us via the normal radio, or if you are following us via vonradio.com, or if you are on YouTube or Facebook, if you're on Facebook, you go to Von Radio on Facebook, click the live link, of course, ensure that you like the Von Radio Facebook page. If you're not on Facebook and you're following via YouTube, be sure to go and like the Von Radio YouTube page. It's a wonderful evening here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Tonight I was getting ready to come, and I was going to be suited up in my education t-shirt tonight, because I have some guests with me tonight, some of the good folks from the Ministry and Department of Education, because a lot of people in the island have been, and rightfully so, asking questions about the reopening of school and how we expect the school year to go. So I brought the good folks from the Ministry and Department with me, and I'm sure they're going to be able to answer your questions as the night goes on. But at the last moment, I decided to make a change and put my Patriots jersey on. If you're watching via the YouTube feed or the Facebook feed, you realize I'm wearing Patriots. How about those Patriots? A lot of folks had just about given up on this game today, after we were losing wickets. Wicket after wicket was going down, and a lot of people started to feel disheartened. And I confess, I was one of those persons who felt like, this game has gone a little bit too far. But, we had some late inning heroics and by the young man Drakes, and, all of the other guys would have contributed. And the Patriots got in on the last ball. We needed 1 run, and we got that 1 run, and everybody in SKN has been happy since then, and I'm no exception. So I'm wearing that Patriots shirt tonight, and it's very fitting because it's right around Independence Time. Of course, let me go back to my welcome, because I'm so excited about this whole Patriots winning the CPL for the very, very first time. But I'll come back to that. And let me welcome all of you who are listening or watching, and if you're not on, or if you're on and you know that your friends are not on yet, call them, tell them that Troy Liburd is on the map tonight. And you guys know whenever I come, it's a bubbly type of experience. So call your friends, tell them to tune in, because we're going to have a really, really good night tonight. We'll talk a little bit about the Patriots too. I hope we don't talk any politics tonight, though. We can talk about government and some of those things, but not too much by the way of politics tonight. But I'm in a celebratory mood for the most part, and because of the Patriots, and because it's around Independence Time and all of that. Okay, as usual, at the top of the show, we always like to welcoming everybody, because the show would not be what it is with if everybody didn't tune in on a regular. And so we always want to show that appreciation. We know people are up, I think it's the morning now in places like Taiwan and China and Japan. We have people from St. Kitts and Nevis living in those areas, and they always tune into On The Mark. And I get WhatsApp messages now and again, and calls now and again, WhatsApp calls. Since we've had WhatsApp call, you can call people from pretty much all over the world once you have, broadband internet. So I get calls from all over, and people say, we like to tune in and listen. So good morning to all of you listening in the Far East, Taiwan, China, closer to us now in Europe, good folks in England, if you're in London or Birmingham or Manchester. And there are some good folks in Manchester that I know. And I want to say a special shout out to them. It's the wee hours of the morning. And I know when they don't get to tune into On The Mark at 8 p.m. our time or wee hours of the morning, daytime, they always tune in the next morning. Or now, you have the option that you can go on YouTube and you can replay the show and hear all that went on during the show. And people do that, because they're not in the same time zone as us. So I want to welcome all of you. If you're listening now or if you're going to listen to this sometime tomorrow morning, please do feel welcome. And of course, back here in the Western Hemisphere, where you guys are listening live and direct, I want to say a special good night to all of you, my good friends in Toronto. We haven't spoken in a little while, but I'm going to need to put in a call to some of you guys, because I know you normally listen. And, when you hear something on the show, you would call or you would tell me, Troy, I like how you said this, and I think next time you should say that. And we always appreciate things like that. Good friends in Boston. I want to big up my good cousin Yellow. I hope you're back in Boston already. I know you were here in Nevis. You were looking to go, and then you got caught up here in Nevis for a little while, but I hope you're back home now, and I want to say a special good night to you, all of our good folks in New York. New York is one of my homes. Second home? Yeah, second home, probably. So good night to all of you, all my family and friends, and all the divisions in the tri-state area and all over the United States, and of course here in the Caribbean area, in Puerto Rico, in St. Martin, the U.S. Virgin Islands, the British Virgin Islands, in the Bahamas, wherever you are, in the Windward Islands, as far south as Guyana and Trinidad. We want to welcome in all of you. And of course here in St. Kitts and Nevis, we're in a very, very good mood today, most of us, celebratory mood, because our Patriots just won, and so we're going into independence and our Patriots just won. So it's just amazing. Of course, at the top of the show, we always, because we are such a small society and such a tight-knit society, when one of us is suffering, we all suffer. So at the top of the show, we always take some time to send out condolences to all of those who have suffered loss. And I think I would have heard sometime earlier this week that we had the passing of Mr. Ambertrot. The folks who are into poetry and those type of things, you would know him, and he would have lived a very full life indeed. When I heard about his passing and I heard the age, I was shocked, because I did not know that he was that age. Somebody who I would have spoken to once or twice before, and he struck me as somebody a bit younger. So of course, condolences to the family. And of course, I think it's about a week and a half now that we had the passing of a very young person here on the island of Nevis, Miss Ronnie Williams. And I want to say condolences to all of the family, to her parents, her father Ralston and her mother Janice, and of course to her brothers Jerry and Raj and her sister Natasha, and to all of the family, Auntie Pal, her grandmother, and all of her aunts and so on, whom I know very, very well, and I know them very, very well because they are my relatives. And it's never easy when you lose a loved one and you lose somebody that's very close to you. And I can speak about this because it's something that I have experienced in the past, and it takes time, and you have to lean on God. And I was very, very shocked. I still remember exactly where I was when I got the message, and I actually had to do a double take and actually listen to the message again and call the person again. And if I spend a little bit of time on this, forgive me, because it's somebody who's a relative of mine and somebody who I know very well and was close to, and we got even closer because we worked in close proximity. She worked at the Ministry of Human Resources for the Nevis Island Administration, and of course I'm the minister with responsibility for education, and my office is just across the hall. As a matter of fact, she's somebody who would drop in by me every now and again and say, "Cuz, how you doing?" And sometimes she would come in and she would say, "You're my favorite cousin, right?" And whenever I get that line, I would listen for the punchline that comes after. But we were good like that, and definitely going to miss her. It's a real tragedy, but we never know what the future holds. Life is something that is fleeting, and as much as we go out every day and we think about all of the hustles and bustles of life, and we're planning for tomorrow, and we're planning long term, and we're planning for what we want to do next year and the year after, sometimes life has a way of hitting us from an angle that we did not expect, and just tossing things sideways or upside down or whatever the case may be. And so I guess the lesson for us is that every day we have to live and appreciate each day, as it comes, and each step that we take, we ought to be thankful, for it. And we need to continue as much as possible, or try as much as possible, to stay close to the Creator, because we never know when our time will come. We also had the passing earlier this week of Mrs. Joycelyn Liburd of Gingerland, from right there in Market Shop area in Gingerland, and she's somebody who is older, and most folks in the Gingerland area would know her very, very well. But this is somebody who has served the island of Nevis very, very well, and served with distinction over many, many years, and especially the people of Gingerland. She would have served as a teacher for many, many years, and then in her later years of service to the Nevis Island Administration, she was the principal of the Gingerland Secondary School, which has now been named for her as principal, as the Joycelyn Liburd Primary School, and I think it was well named in her honor. And a lot of us who are from the area, we are the products of her handiwork. Indeed, the entire duration of my time as it was known then as the Gingerland Primary School, for the entire duration of my time there, she was the head teacher, and up until now, every time I see her and I speak to her, I still refer to her as head teacher. And so that was a mark of respect and a mark of honor. And so she was the sweetest person, but she was a no-nonsense type of person, and when you did anything for her, you certainly wanted to do your best, because she would not tolerate anything less than the best. I have a million stories that I could tell about her, because she was somebody who was certainly dear to my heart. She would have had a big part to play in the person who I am today, and I know that for most persons from the Gingerland area, and most persons who would have gone to Gingerland Primary School as it was known then, during her time, that and anywhere else where she would have thought that, you know, she was really a genuinely good person. And so I want to say condolences to the entire family. And if you didn't know her personally, I'm sure you know Antonio Abernathy Liburd, and she was his mom. So if she didn't impact you personally, I know that Abo has impacted pretty much everybody here on the island of Nevis through his work with culture and so on. And he would have impacted me even more than that, because he would have been a teacher of mine in high school. And whenever I say he was one of my favorite teachers, whenever he see me, he laugh, you know. But Abo is just a real decent individual, a real genuine guy, and you know, it's a big loss for him, and it's a big loss for all of us here on the island of Nevis. So again, I want to say condolences to you, Abo, and condolences to all who mourn, and condolences, you know, for all of the other persons who we have lost. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On the Mark, and this is Troy Liburd. I'm your host for tonight, and I have two co-hosts here with me who I will introduce, but not just yet, because of course we have a few little things. I already highlighted the fact that our Patriots have won the CPL. I think it's worth saying again. You know, how about them Patriots? You know, I was really excited this afternoon when I watched the match, and you couldn't, if you had to script the CPL and you had to script the ending for the CPL, you couldn't write a better script than what happened today. You know, a few games back we had that game where the bowler for the one of the bowlers for the Patriots would have hit that six off of the last ball. I think that was Cottrell who hit the six off of the last ball, and that was a really amazing game, and everybody celebrated. But today was, you know, even better, because everything was on the line today. And so I want to congratulate everybody who had anything to do with CPL, and you know, the entire team. I'm happy that, you know, over on St. Kitts, that we were able to host a very successful CPL, even in spite of all that's going on with COVID-19 and all of those things. We were able to host a very successful CPL. So I want to say congratulations, you know, to my colleague Janelle Powell, Honorable Janelle Powell. You know, I'm definitely going to call him and say some congratulations to him, because he would have worked really hard to, you know, see the CPL through, and it could not have ended any better for us. As far as I know, there weren't any real incidents or anything that happened, and so, you know, it feels really good. I also was really happy to see Kezran getting his medal. I think he would have played in one of the games, but as I think, listening to the interview with Drakes, who was the hero of the day today, he said that he was with the CPL for several years, and you know, this year was the first year that he got a lot of runs. He got a lot of games. So, you know, I want to say to Kezi, you know, to keep working on your game, keep, you know, honing your craft, and, you know, stay ready, and your opportunities are definitely going to come, and when they come, you know, you grab them, and you go on to doing bigger and better things. So certainly, again, congratulations to all involved with CPL. And of course, today is what, the 15th? So it's 15th, right? 15th of September, which means tomorrow is the 16th of September. And what's significant about the 16th of September here in St. Kitts and Nevis is that it's National Heroes Day. And of course, we have a few persons here in the Federation who have been enshrined as national heroes. And so it's a day for us to celebrate them. Indeed, I believe that the 16th of September was the birthday of the Right Honorable and Excellent Robert Llewellyn Batcha, who is our first national hero. And so it was rather fitting that they celebrate, that they would have put National Heroes Day on his birthday, and that we would all celebrate it on that day. And it's so close to independence, so I think it's a really, really fitting time. And I believe it's important that all of us as Nevisians and Kittitians and persons living in St. Kitts and Nevis, that we take some time to find out about the history of St. Kitts and find out about the history of Nevis, and about the things that we had to go through to get to where we are today. In just a few days, we're going to be celebrating 38 years of being an independent country, of being the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Prior to that, we would have been colonies of England, of the mother country. And so folks who are a little bit older than 40, maybe 45, 46 and older, would have some recollection of what it was like to live in St. Kitts and Nevis prior to us gaining independence. Folks like me, we don't have that privilege. I only know St. Kitts and Nevis as an independent country, because not to give out my age, I'm not going to do that on the radio tonight, but whenever I think of independence, to know how much years of independence we celebrating, I normally think about my age, and then I do a small subtraction, and that is how I know. That is how I know how many years of independence we are normally celebrating. So by the time I would have come of age to know anything, to live and to know where I'm living and to be conscious of what's happening around me, we would have been St. Kitts and Nevis, the Federation. So that is all I know. And I love it, I love it, because I feel good when I go down the road. I feel good when I jump on a boat or whatever it is. If I could swim, I would swim the channel and go over to St. Kitts. But wherever I am in the Federation, I normally feel good. I normally feel comfortable, because we are living in a good place. There are so many places all over the world where people don't enjoy the type of freedom that we do, where people don't live the type of uninterrupted lives that we do. It's only recently, with the coming of this COVID-19 pandemic, that persons here in St. Kitts and Nevis have been having any long-term interruption to the normal flow of life. Prior to that, we've probably had one or two hurricanes that would have affected us badly and would have stopped the normal flow of life. But those situations would have only altered things for maybe a month, maybe 2 months at worst. Now with COVID, we've had some alterations for a longer period of time. But outside of those things, we have enjoyed a very, very good living, a very, very good life here in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're not interrupted by wars and those type of things. And so we have to really, really, really be thankful. We have to, give God thanks and praise for all of those things. And we have to remember those persons who went on before us, who fought, who gave of their blood, sweat and tears, who sacrificed getting wealthy, who sacrificed family time, who would have sacrificed a lot of other things to ensure that we live in a free, we live in a safe society, we live in a free society, and that our democracy is strong. And we have to ensure that we treasure this and we keep it safe, and we try to build on it and make it better for the generations to come after us. We have to ensure that in 15 or 20 or 30 years from now, when another set of people are on the radio, when people like Troy Liburd and Honorable Mark Brantley and other people who are on the radio these days, when we are wherever we are, if we're still around, we could be listening to the generation of tomorrow speaking about the good life that they're living, and we know that we would have had some part to play in keeping it or making it so. So we need to treasure our country, treasure our democracy, and in everything that we do, don't just be selfish about it, but remember our country's motto when we do it, and the motto is country above self. And you know, if we do that, then we would be doing a lot and going a long way towards ensuring that the Nevis of today, or the good life that we have up today in St. Kitts and Nevis, is preserved for a next generation. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been talking for a very long time. It's about 27 minutes after the 8 o'clock hour. As I said at the top of the show, I have some guests with me. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to introduce my two guests, and then I will allow them to say good night and give some opening remarks, and then we would go into some conversations. Then we will, of course, open the mics, you know, so that folks could call in and ask questions, or that folks could call in and give their comments. So we had the opening of our public schools here on Nevis this past Monday. It was delayed by 1 week because we had some issues with COVID-19, and of course some contact tracing and so on that had to happen up at the main offices of the Ministry and Department of Education. So that caused us to delay the reopening of schools. But we've had that opening this past Monday. I have not had too many reports of incidents as yet, and so, you know, by the grace of God, things have been going well so far. So I have with me here tonight the two persons who I would say are the most responsible for what happens in Nevis in terms of education. They are the ones who work closest with me, of course, and they actually make life, you know, a lot easier for me. Certainly, I don't know where we would be here in Nevis in terms of education without them. And of course, we have the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education, Mr. Kevin Barrett, and we have the principal education officer, the Department of Education, Ms. Zanella Claxton. So I will first turn over to Mr. Barrett to make his opening remarks and say good night to the public.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister.
And tonight we use him first.
Okay. Thank you very much for the reminder, Troy. Yes, thank you very much. I have that lesson tonight, so I'll use it. But I am indeed happy to join you tonight, along with P.O. Claxton. Tonight we are. Yes, we are going to be discussing a lot of things when it comes to education on Nevis. But first, I would like to welcome back all of our teachers and everybody involved in education to a new school year, a school year in which we are dealing with a number of things, but I am certain that in the end we are going to have a successful school year. I am indeed delighted that we could once again welcome our students as well for what we call face-to-face interaction in the classrooms. We have had a challenge since the onset of this pandemic, but I think we are doing quite well. But before I go any further, Mr. Minister, Troy, I would like to join you in expressing condolences to Abonati and the rest of his family in the passing of his mom, and from the Ministry of Education, Department of Education as well. I'm sure Miss Claxton would support me in this, in that we recognize Mrs. Liburd as someone who has made significant contribution to the landscape of education in Nevis, and indeed I think it was really fitting to have the primary school, what was once the Gingerland Primary School, named after her. And I don't think that there is anyone in Nevis, my age and perhaps a little bit younger, who would not have heard or know something about Miss Liburd. And so I would like to express my condolences to Abu and the rest of this the family. Abu and I are very good friends, and I'm sure at this time it's tough for him, but I just want him to know that he is in our prayers, and we are wishing him the strength and God's comfort through this. And I would also like to express condolences to the family of Ronnie's as well. You would have mentioned this already, Mr. Minister, but yes, she was indeed a very, very pleasant and delightful individual. Yes, I had occasion to interact with her on a number of occasions, to my visits to her office, to her ministry, and even in the hallway. As I said, your office is just across the hall from where she worked, and so our paths always cross very often. And I cannot say that there was any time that I would have seen her not in a good mood, not in a good frame of mind, and not being pleasant and cordial and courteous. And so it is a sad experience for all, I'm sure, her office mates and even us in education, because the ministries work so closely together. So yes, we absolutely going to miss her and just that interaction that we had so often. I pray too for the family that they would find some comfort and strength during this time of their bereavement. But Troy, we are here just to discuss back to school, the restart, the reopening, and it has been very exciting for me, and I am sure it has been exciting for all of us here and all of us in the Ministry of Education, because we are well aware that we are still battling a disease, a virus that has, just metamorphosizing in a number of ways, or as I said, we have so many variants now that the game changes so often. But you know what? I believe that we in the Ministry of Education, Department of Education, and led so ably by you, Mr. Minister, I believe we have responded in a very, very, very valiant way to this current situation. And when I say that, because I am in the position that I am in, I have seen a lot of things that go on, a lot of things that we have to ensure is done in order for us to even be at this point when we could actually have students back in school, have teachers back in school, and as common as that has been over the years, it's almost, everybody expect that school is going to have a summer break come July, and come September we are going to go back. But there are lots of things that go on that some of us don't see and don't know. And one of the things that we probably take for granted is that even before the pandemic struck, we always focus on the health and safety of our students. But one of the things that I believe that we miss is how important maintenance of these facilities that our children go to daily, how important that is to the health and safety of our children. And tonight I would like to spend a little bit of time talking about that aspect of the response to COVID-19, right? But I would allow my right hand, that is how I refer to her most of the times, because she has been such a tremendous help and added value to the Ministry and Department of Education. And so I would allow my PO, Ms. Claxton, to have some opening remarks as well.
Thank you. I want to also join my colleagues in extending condolences to the family of Mrs. Joycelyn Liburd. She was also my principal at Gingerland Primary, and today she would have celebrated her birthday. And so the norm for the students of the Joycelyn Liburd Primary School would have been a visit to give her some flowers, and then after the pandemic they would send the flowers and have them of course delivered. And today they had, those students who were in school, they had a little special assembly, socially distanced, and those who were online, they got to see a slideshow kind of reminding them of her contribution and the fact that the school is named after her. So they did a short tribute during their online classes just to remind the students, and of course to alert them that she is no longer with us. And so I want to join you in extended condolences to my friend Abel. He's going to be so happy that I said Abel tonight, because I always call him Mr. Liburd. And so condolences to Abel and the entire family, and of course to the family of the late Ronnice Williams. Ronnice was one of my students when I taught at Gingerland Secondary. So indeed it is a very difficult time for, and I am a friend of the family, and they're my family as well, and so I want to extend condolences to them. And I never had the opportunity to publicly do so, so I want to add the family of the late Pandora Coverley. Mrs. Coverley also contributed significantly to education, and we want to let you know that we appreciate the contribution of your family members to the development of this nation. And so, of course, we opened school on Monday, as we were told. Unprecedented has become a word that is a watchword in every area of society, and unprecedented is exactly what this new school year looked like. I want to just back up a little bit, though, before we got to this point, to say that just a minute ago we heard that school usually has a July break, and then you go into the September reopening. And this year that did not happen, because the CXC exams actually brought us straight down. The CXC exams ended in early August, and so teachers, principals, secondary principals were working straight down. And then with the COVID pandemic, the principals, supervisors at every level, they have not had a vacation as yet, and so they have been working behind the scenes, the work that we don't get to see as a general public, to prepare for the reopening of schools. We returned on August 30th. We had our introductions and our virtual back-to-school reopening ceremony for all of our teachers who logged in via Microsoft Teams. And so we started off with the theme, last year we coined the theme Education for the Future, because we felt that we're preparing our students for the future. And so we had this year's launch, Education for the Future, Ready, Set, Go. And it was a difficult theme to coin. It was because with so many things happening, but we have to be ready. We had to get set. And so we have, of course, taken off, and the race has started in terms of ensuring that we prepare our students for the future and that we're prepared for anything that may come. And so every day is a new day. Every day you wake up and you start off going in one direction and then something else happens. But the important thing that we have learned is that we always have a plan, and then a backup plan, and then a backup plan for the backup plan. And then you have to think critically, strategically at every step of the way to be able to respond in an appropriate and timely manner. And so I think that we've been forced to model what we want the education system to look like. We always encourage children to think critically. We encourage teachers to create an environment for critical thinking and innovation, but we have to live it every single day. And so we had many activities, many things happening, as I said, behind the scenes, but we are ready. We have been set, and we are already on our way, and so we will continue to provide our children with the best possible education, and in spite of and despite what is going on around us. I will continue as we go along, but those are my opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Permanent Secretary and PEO. And there's quite a lot to unpack tonight. It's just about a quarter to the 9 o'clock hour. We're going to be here until 10 o'clock, of course. This is a call-in show. So what we're going to do, we're going to open the lines, and as callers call in, we will allow them to ask their questions, give their input. We will address as best that we could. But, while we have no callers and so on, we'll continue with the interaction. We'll continue giving information to the public, because I know that there is a large appetite out there for information as it pertains to schools and students and so on. There are a lot of things that are vague to parents. There are a lot of things that people are confused about. I get a lot of calls. I know colleague ministers also get a lot of calls. People in the general public, they would meet me on the street and they ask me this question, they ask me that question. Some of them I can answer, some of them I can't answer. But of course, the persons who would have the good answers are here on the mark tonight. So it's a quarter to 9 now. We're going to open the lines. The numbers to call once the lines are open: 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. And it seems we have our first caller for the night. Caller, you are on the mark. Good night. Hello.
Good night.
Good night. You're on the mark.
I would like to say my sympathy for Avanati mother.
Can you speak up a bit?
We used to call cities advice, right? In school, right? I used to go to school when I was 48.
Alright, speak up a little bit, Dalbal.
Hey, what's that? Hey, Avanati. You know what this is a putty. And you know the work with teachers, right? And teachers of the column.
Alright, turn on your radio, man.
No, it is hard. Okay, what's that? Hey, Avanati. Boy, me just right here, you mother them. Me no. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna take a see you tomorrow.
This is a special place. Have a wonderful night. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On The Mark. I was saying the lines are open. The numbers to call, of course, 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. We go immediately back to the lines. We have a caller. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Hey, good night.
Good night. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. I just got from the information that I got.
We're getting a bit of an echo from you.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. We're hearing you.
Yeah, I just from the information that I got a while ago, you see, this teacher Joyce was passed
Mm-hmm. Yes, we said
So
that.
I just want to express my sympathies to Abenaki and Paulette. And there was another girl around our time, Carol. Not too sure if she was a daughter or what, but I know there was another girl around. So I mean, and I believe they probably would be listening in now. So I just want to express my sympathy and you know, Abenaki and myself, we went a long way back. We came up in the Anglican Church in the Scout Troop, and we played cricket and so forth together. I don't know if he knew that his mom taught me at what we call infant school back then, which is now primary.
Could you move away from your radio a bit, please? There's a little
Far
feedback.
away from the radio.
Okay, we're getting a little feedback.
Yeah, you know, I said I don't know if he knew that his mom taught me at infant school. Yeah, so as I said, I just want to express my sympathies. You know, I mean, in a time like this, I know it's very difficult times to cope. But I know Abba is strong, and God is going to be with him. So keep holding on, Abba.
Thank you very much for that, caller.
Yeah, good night.
Okay, you have a wonderful night. Okay, while we have no other caller, we're going to go back to you, Mr. Barrett. You are going to talk a bit about some of the work that has been happening to keep our schools up and going.
Right, and as you said to Mr. Minister, that parents have concerns, and one of the concerns that we got at the ministry and at the department is if the schools are going to be safe to receive the children. And indeed, I could say that yes, because of the work that we would have put in terms of making the spaces clean and sanitized. I know last year we would have had an all-out, all across the board, all of our schools, they were professionally and deep cleaned, and we maintained that. We maintained that by having employed full-time cleaners. Once upon a time, our cleaners came in like at the mornings or maybe in the afternoons and cleaned.
We have a caller trying to get in. Let's take the call.
We have a caller trying to get in.
Caller, you are on the mark. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Liburd.
Good night. Good night.
Well, my congratulations to the...
I know this voice. Long time I didn't hear from you. How are you?
I must tell Mark you don't listen to me.
Long time I didn't see you.
Well, let me start with Mr. Liburd. The name sounds like somebody I went to college with. We went to college together in 72-73, Teachers College. Me, Cecil, Sutton, Nupa, me, Rosalie, Cecilia Johnson, Drake and they. Is she in the same age range?
Probably.
She was beautiful, good looking, kind of short. She went to college with a big afro, and the next time I saw her, her hair was cut low.
See, I wouldn't know all of these things. I'm not sure because I wouldn't know all of these things. You know, I'm on the younger
What's she
side.
short?
I wouldn't particularly say that, no.
Well, anyway, as a teacher, as a former teacher, but when me time you call the name, I say, she sound like the library went to college with us. Anyway, let me ask this question. Should you have a lockdown, do you have enough devices to give to the children? Because that seems to be an issue. And in terms of connectivity, is there any provision for connectivity?
We would have been through the situation before where we had to revert to remote learning. We had gotten some devices in the last school year, and those were already distributed. Students would still have them.
They were allowed to keep them?
Yes. Some students would have already had devices, and parents have been buying devices. The government would have taken the decision to take all duty and taxes off of computers and other such devices to allow parents, to purchase devices. So I would believe that most, if not all, students by now have access to devices. The government would have also gone ahead and assisted with internet.
The connectivity?
Yes, for several months for persons who did not have access to internet.
Because I thought it was 3 months after the time.
Yes, but some of the persons would have made the decision to keep, the connectivity.
So what will happen to those who do not have?
Well, of course, if students do not have connectivity, do not have devices, I think that parents...
No, I mean, they may have devices, but in terms of connectivity.
Well, that is something that we could certainly find a way to work around if the government has to step into the breach and assist. Certain that...
Because this evening I was sitting down and I said, maybe we could try and get some of our nationals abroad and to send even one, send two.
Certainly, that would definitely be welcomed, of course.
All right, so that is my question about Miss Liburd. As I say, I believe she went to college with me, Teachers College in St. Kitts. So whether or not, condolences to the family. And you go ahead, I'm listening.
Okay, take care of yourself. Hopefully I'll see you soon.
All right then, happy independence to everybody.
Same to you.
Oh, by the way, there are 2 divisions who are heroes,
Yes, I'm aware of that.
And so when you are counting 1, count 2, we have 2 divisions, 2 petitions, and 1 Dominican. And tomorrow is also Joseph France's birthday.
And that's in the vision.
Yeah, that's in the vision. So it is Mr. Blas's birthday alone.
Okay.
Mr. France's birthday is on the 16th of September. Right?
Yes.
That's just the history. All right then.
All right, thank you. You always teach me.
Well, boy, a wise man learn, the Bible says, and increase it in wisdom, a fool don't learn.
Thank you. All right, take care.
God bless.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Brown.
Yes, so I was talking about the concern that parents had about sending their children back to a school setting, and if it would be safe and healthy for their children to occupy. And as I said earlier too, that I am very, very proud of the response that we would have done with the schools in ensuring that yes, the children were returning to a safe and healthy environment. We would have maintained, as I said, the health standards and the safety of our schools by employing full-time cleaners that throughout the day that the classrooms were kept clean, sanitized, the bathrooms were kept clean and sanitized as well. And that was something that I know parents were very, very concerned about. And yes, indeed, that these areas have been properly kept up to standard. This year, because of that implementation that we did in terms of the full-time cleaners, we did not do as an extensive cleaning like what we did last year, but some schools did receive some professional cleaning. But I must say kudos to all of our cleaners who are on our full-time list that they have been doing very, very, very well at the schools. The principals welcome that change in terms of the attention that are paid to the bathrooms especially, and the classrooms, because we still have very much as our focus and priority is the safety and the health of our students. Those individuals who come to us day after day, parents trust us to take care of these individuals, and so we try as much as possible to make sure or ensure that yes, they are indeed occupying safe and healthy spaces. while we also looked at employing these full-time cleaners, there were other measures that we have put in place. There are other things that we have done because the maintenance and the upkeep of our schools is very important, very, very, very important to how comfortable not only the students feel but also the staff as well. And so we would have ensured that we would have paid some attention to all of the other areas that are occupied by even the staff members. One of the things, though, that I'm really, really proud of is the effort that we made in terms of ensuring that protocols were adhered to as soon as you reach the entrance of our schools. Now, one of the changes that we would have made is that, and some parents would have asked me this question as well, with schools who had more than one, maybe up to 2 or 3 or 4 areas in which you could actually get onto the school grounds or onto the school campus, how are we going to be able to manage things like that? And I must say that one of the measures that we would have put in place is that there was either 1 or 2 main entrances for our schools. And we did that because we wanted to ensure that we control the traffic that comes there. We wanted to ensure that the protocols that were put in place by the task force, that they were adhered to. And the better we did that, we know that our children, the staff and the students would be in a safer and more healthy environment. So what we did, we ensured that at these entrances we had what we call the hand washing stations, and so the students would come, anybody visiting the school, they would come, they would ensure that they were sanitized before coming through the entrance. We also did temperature checks, and we ensured that the individuals who came through the gates, they had the appropriate temperature reading. We also had the contact tracing, so names were taken. In some instances, students were able to, before coming to school, register online that they were coming school, and they would have put their information in a digital way that we could access the information. But the things that we did in terms of making sure that yes, the children were coming into a safe and healthy environment, I am indeed very, very, very happy that we would have done that. And we would have used also our attendance officers to ensure and to enforce these protocols. We would have used at times our crossing guards, and so the response from the Ministry and Department of Education in dealing with the pandemic from a standpoint of maintenance, I think we would have done a good job, as I said. During the summer break, well, if you want to call it a break, as P.O. Claxton said, it was I must commend our teachers, Troy. I must commend our teachers, the principals, and everybody who were involved in this extended school year that ran all the way into August. And it was like, okay, exams are finished, and as soon after exams are done, we went into the back to school, the back to school week, because that turnaround was so quickly. But I could tell you, Troy, and you would know this because you are also involved. We didn't have any complaints. We didn't have absolutely. We didn't have any complaints from the principals, from the teachers. But we know, and also the education officers. But we know that they were at times probably running on fumes. but they knew that this is something that is really, really important to our education system, really important for our children, so that when September comes, at least we are ready to receive them. And they went the extra mile. And I must commend all of the principals, from primary right up to secondary, and especially secondary, principals who had to contend with the extended exam period, and then they were just after that ready to reopen school again. They did a fantastic job. There's another group of individuals that I would like to commend while I'm talking about the maintenance. Now, as it would have happened for this summer, that the break wasn't as long, and so the major projects that sometimes usually happen during that time did not happen. But that does not mean that we didn't do any work at our schools. And I could say maybe 85 to 90% of the maintenance things that were done at our school was done by our maintenance team, that is headed by Mr. Alex Street Percival and his team. And I must say too that this has been a really good addition to the Ministry of Education, to the Department of Education, and even more particularly to our schools, that these guys would get the job orders and execute, and they have been just like the principals. They have been just working and working and working, ensuring yet again that our children and our teachers, the entire staff of schools, that they are working in spaces that are safe, that are healthy, and the things like the bathrooms are working, electricity is up and running, plumbing is done, the broken pipes, and all of these things that we get calls so often about are kept in tip-top shape and in good working conditions. Mr. Minister, you and I would have gone to the schools just before they went out for the summer, and we heard from the principals their laundry list of things that they had to do.
And there's always a lot.
And yes, but and one of the things we made sure that we did though, Mr. Minister, and you would have done that as well, is to tell them, yes, we understand that you want everything that you said to us done, but you would appreciate that with the way the economy is and the time span in which we have for these things, that we will do as much as we could do, but the work will continue even after we would have gone back to school. And so one of the what we tried was, or what we did, let me put it like that, what we did was to ensure that every single school, what was listed, at least some of the things were given priority, were given attention, and all of the schools, I know they could say that, yes, I saw the maintenance team at my school and they did X, Y, and Z. We may not have done everything that was listed, yes, principals, but the work is not done, and we will continue to do our best in ensuring that the things that you wanted done gets done, but it will be done over time. We continue to tick off as we go along. As we speak, the maintenance team is still working and still going around and still ensuring that
it's a never-ending
job.
Maintenance.
Yes, and maintenance is extremely important to the health and safety.
I know you have a lot to say. I want to give you an opportunity to come in with something. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On the Mark, of course. I know that it is interesting stuff that's being imparted here, but of course, remember, the lines are open for those who want to call. The numbers are 869-469-1616 or 469-1700. Of course, the numbers are open. I'm going to give the PEO a chance to come in and speak a little bit about actually getting the kids in school and all of that type of thing. And one of the questions that I certainly have gotten all along is they said people keep saying to me, last year we didn't have community spread in the community, but this year now we have community spread. How are we going to open schools? Or some people are saying we should not open schools, and why are we opening schools and all of those type of things, and how are we going to keep students safe? And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that the good folks at the Department of Education, they have worked tirelessly, and the safety of our children is of paramount importance to us. And so I'll give Pia an opportunity to speak a little bit about what we have done to ensure that students will be safe in school, and what we have done to ensure that education continues.
Okay, so like Pia said, the infrastructural maintenance work is also part of the package, but I think the teaching and learning is where the question is coming from. And so I think that we've been here a few times before. We've spoken to some of the changes that we had to make to respond to COVID-19. We have experienced two physical closures of schools, and so we're coming this time around with a bit more experience as it relates and lessons learned as it relates to how to respond and how to be prepared. And so we started off, that's where we started. We started from our lessons learned. And we know that we've had, as I said, two physical closures. We know that our teachers and students had to migrate to an online learning platform, and they had to use it in 2020. They had to use it again at the end of the school year in 2021. And what we've realized, if we had to compare 2020 and 2021 as expected, we would see that there were a greater number of students online. The teachers were getting more comfortable. The students themselves were getting more comfortable as we have the access spreading across the island. Now, all public schools on Nevis, all public primary and secondary schools on Nevis use the Microsoft Teams platform. And we have encouraged our teachers to continue to become acquainted even when schools are closed, any opportunity that they can get to practice, to have their interactions, and they have, as I said, a pretty good handle on it. Our prospective teachers course, about half of our prospective teachers course is spent on Microsoft Teams, so that whomever we end up hiring, those individuals are ready to deliver classes online, because it is now a part of what we have to do. It's a part of the package. It's a part of the expectation for a teacher. And so we also know some things about the virus, so we know how we have an idea of how it is contracted, that it goes from person to person. We know that we have to try as much as possible to have the physical distancing in place and sanitization, that we should wear our masks, because droplets, the virus is spread through droplets. And so we, as I said earlier on, we employed some critical thinking skills, some research, looked at best practices across the region, across the world, and we know that we're also being told consistently by the health professionals that we have to learn to live with the virus. And that was the hardest part, because it's not going to just magically disappear, but with every year, with every closure, we're potentially increasing the gap for students, and so we had to make sure that we try to find a balance. And so some parents, like you said, are concerned, how can we safely open school? And some parents are concerned that we're not opening schools. And so we have two loud voices. Some parents want the children, all of them, to go at the same time. They want them all to go every day. They want them to be physically in school. They do not like the online. Some parents do not like the online approach. Some are worried about the children being at home with, not enough supervision. And then there are some who, I don't want them to go. I'm scared that other children will come into contact with them and they will contract the virus and they'll bring it home. And so, as I said, those are the two strongest voices. And then we have on the parent front, and then we have the teachers. Some teachers a longing for that physical interaction. They want to see their students. They know it's easier to teach students when they're in person, and they also know that when the children are at home, sometimes it's difficult to maintain and keep their interest and participation. And so some of them prefer to have them in person. And then on the other hand, we have some who prefer online. And so we have all of these preferences and then, as I said, looking at research. So what we decided to do for the first 2 weeks is to have an alternate day schedule. And there is a lot of logic behind doing the alternate day schedule. It is not necessarily the most popular, but I want to assure parents, guardians, that the decision had to be taken to protect the teachers, to protect the students, and anyone and everyone involved. And so we came up with an alternate day schedule, a systematic alternate day schedule. We're in day 3 of the alternate day schedule, and that just means that the students are physically in school every other day, and at the primary and secondary level, when they are not in school, whenever their schedule is for them to be at home, then they are online. The reality is, as I said, that we have to live with COVID, and so we try to reduce the numbers because we know that mass gatherings increase, and large numbers of persons in one space increases the potential for the spread of the virus. So decreasing the number of students in a physical space means that at break time, it's easy for us during class time because we have control of the number of students in the classroom. But when it comes to break time, and you can't take away break, you can't take away lunch. So during the lunchtime, even with monitoring and observing, we know that students are going to play, they're going to interact. And so I'm going to okay. All right, so they're going to play and they're going to interact. And so the best approach for us was to allow our students to reintegrate into a physical space and to allow our teachers to get a handle of, because remember,
we have a call on the line, so let's go to the line. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Yes, good night all. Good night, Mrs. Miss Claxton.
Good night.
Barrett.
Good night. Good night.
Liburd.
Yes, good night. Could you speak up a bit? We're barely hearing you though.
Yes, this is Jennifer Liburd calling.
Oh, how are you, Jennifer?
I'm great. I would personally like to congratulate all of you for the work that you have been doing, the role you have been playing in, and will continue to play in steering the educational wagon. Listen, in life, you're not going to please everybody. But I realize that your leadership style so that you are, all of you, you're strong, bold, you're thoughtful, humble, visionary, and you work as a team. I would love to tell all of us who are in the education department to please, let's work together to make this happen. We say ready, set, we gotta go for it and do our best for the country and for our children in this federation. May God continue to be with the Nevis Island administration. Honorable Brantley, may you continue to bless all of you in what you're doing as you lead in a practical and realistic way. Please, let's all stay safe and make our nation. But not, what adjective must I use? Let our nation move on. Nevis nice. Thank you.
Really appreciate those words, definitely. Continue, please.
Yes, so thank you so much for that, Teacher Jennifer. And of course, we, as I was saying, and as you correctly said, we will not be able to quote unquote please everyone, but we have to make the best decisions with all of the information that we have. And sometimes, parents have a bit of information, teachers have a bit of information. We have a lot of information, and so we're using the information that we have to make the best possible decisions.
We have another caller on the line. Let's go back to the line. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Liburd.
Good night. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I want to take the time out to thank Mr. Barrett and Miss Claxton, including yourself, Mr. Liburd.
Mm-hmm.
The
Certainly
education
appreciate that.
department has been working tirelessly overtime to make sure the protocols and everything through this pandemic time. And I'm so happy to be a part of this body. We are one body, many parts, and they've been doing tremendously good. You know, before I started working there, I used to look on the outside and say, man, X, Y, Z, and X, Y, but to be there and see what they've been doing, and I can say clearly, not because I'm a part of it, but I have seen what they have been doing, and so far, we've been doing tremendously good, and we only could see it getting it better, because, you know, man, we have like Mr. Barrett, the opening batsman, and we have Mr. Claxton. You know, we have a good team here, a good batting team, and we don't have to worry about who is going to come in the back, because I know these two have been doing a really tremendous job. We are keepers, and we're not going to drop nothing. We on the ball. You know, a lot of things been introduced since of this, like the buses have been kept clean, and we have attendants that keep the buses clean, and we have sanitation, and we do data, and we have everything under control. So far, we have no complaint, and all I could say to Mr. Barrett, keep up the good work, and Mr. Claxton, yourself, you guys doing a wonderful job, and I know how hard you guys work. We work all year through, and I'm just looking forward that we can make this thing better.
Thank you very much. We certainly appreciate it.
And so, thank you so much. And as we continue, so the idea is that when the students are at home, they keep practicing and they keep getting acquainted with the online platform and getting comfortable with it. And the reason is, as I said, we have to live with the virus. And so our reality also, and coming in, it was not short sight or short vision having this alternate day schedule. The idea is to allow students to become comfortable enough so that if we have to say tomorrow we have to transition online, we don't have the response and the reaction that we had in the past, where our parents are panicking because they don't know what to do, the children don't know what to do, the teachers don't know what to do. The constant contact, the constant, as I said, alternate day schedule, or in some cases mixed modality in the same day, but every day, just about every other day, several times a week, children get exposure at all levels to the online learning platform. Now, the kindergarten students are in school every day because they are new to the learning process. They actually went through 2 closures as preschoolers, and so there are some very key fine motor skills that we need to get in place, and we also need to get them online, and so we want to guide them through the process online, and so we're using the opportunity for the next 2 weeks to meet with them daily online.
We have another caller on the line. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Liburd.
Yes, good night.
Good night.
Yes, we're hearing you loud and clear.
Hi, good night. A special hello to your panelists.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to stay long because I realize you all have a very important discussion going on about education. But it's me again, Florine Williams, the PRO for the Nevis Reno Society.
Oh, certainly. Take your time.
So take my time, right?
Yes. Important stuff.
I'm here promoting our Nevis Reno Society fundraiser event, which is a walkathon coming up on this week, Saturday, the 18th, starting at 5:30 a.m. Starting venue is at the David Walwyn Playground at Bass Plains. And then we're going to turn right to the roundabout where Delta Petroleum is located, the station, the gas station, along the pump road. Down the bypass road to the Artiston Village, where it's that lovely sign that says Nevis Nice, where one probably could take pictures and, you know, just pick up Nevis Nice. Then you turn left to Charlestown and back to David Walwyn Playground. Okay, upon registration, one will receive a package of a tote bag with the Nevis Reno Society logo on it, and a water bottle also with the Nevis logo on it also. Because of the COVID-19, we're not going to have any gathering, but after the walk, we're going to have water and fruits, and I will be served after the walk, and then, if everybody could go home, because we don't want to have any gathering, and we're going to adhere to the protocols and the guidelines. And before I go, I would like to encourage the general public, please support the Nevis Renal Society, that we in turn can assist those with renal failure. And before I go, Mr. Liburd, how many packages you like to have?
I'm going to contact you off the air.
Okay, but guess what? If you don't find me, I'm going to find you.
You know, I'm going to find you. You know exactly how to find me too.
Okay.
So,
what about Miss Claxton and the other educator?
P.S. Barrett?
Well, we will
have
also
any interest in getting a package?
definitely. We would make contact. I have another contact within the Renal Society as well.
Right now, I don't remember all the numbers out of my head.
Okay.
But my number is, jot it down, please.
Okay.
Listening. My number is 669-3477, which my name is Florine Williams, and I'm the PRO, and we have Nurse Sherilyn Pemberton. Her number is 669-4185. And we have Dr. Liburd, which is 662-5187. Those are the numbers I can remember right now, or contact any member of the society. Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
I'm looking forward to see you guys and spread the word around. And you all have a pleasant evening. God love you guys.
Thank you so much for that, Florine, and you have a wonderful night. And
thank you.
And I know that it's going to be a real success come Saturday.
Yeah, man.
We always try to
people to come. We're not going to hang around. As soon as we finish with the walk, we head home. You pick up your water, your fruit, and head home.
Yes,
okay?
We always try to encourage people to support the Nevis Renal Society. Thanks a lot,
and you all have a pleasant evening, and take care.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Williams, and we'll definitely support, and we encourage everyone to support as well. And so
we have another caller. The calls keep coming, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go back to the line. Caller, you're on the mark.
Good night, brother Charlie. Good night.
Good night, brother. How are you?
Oh, I'm not too bad. I'm here listening. And good night to the good teachers in the education department.
Mm-hmm.
You know that this is not a normal time. But in any part of the world, this is not a normal time.
Certainly not.
And I want to commend you all teachers, to keep the faith and to go out and educate our children in spite of the deadly COVID plaguing the whole world. You know that we got to go by the protocol, and we know that we got to live with COVID for time, and we got to do what we got to do. And I just want the parents them to encourage the children to go out and take the vaccine, and then they should go out and take the vaccine, because this is where we got to see it. And the vaccine is the only choice out as far as I hear for us to combat this COVID deadly coronavirus. So, we got to do what we got to do. In the situation of things, the same thing down here too. School open and so the school got to close again, and that's a fighting time. And I just want to commend the Patriot team. Think it needs Patriot. I think they have done well. I want to commend Darren Bravo and all those technical people, all those security who work in the park, to help manage things, and those vendors and so to make them little money. I believe this is a start for us to start to open up, and that we got to live with COVID. We had a tourist boat yesterday, and everything went down good. And things will come gradually, and try. We got to do what we got to do, because we cannot lock down, and then when you lock down, the country get bankrupt, nothing to eat, so we still going to die from hungry, and then COVID will still be around. So we got to do in the best way to know to come back and live with COVID. You all have a wonderful night. This Federation of Civic Unit. Happy Independence Day, everyone. Happy New Year's Day. And teachers, you all continue the good fight.
Thank you very much, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On the Mark, and we're having a pretty good discussion tonight. I have with me the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education and the Principal Education Officer in the Ministry of Education here on Nevis. Continue, PEO.
Yes, so I think the gentleman just ended on a really positive note. We have to live with COVID. We have to figure out a way, and so the teachers have been really working hard to make sure that what we've put in place works. I must say that one of the concerns that's highlighted is what happens if we get a COVID positive case in a classroom. And of course, as I said, the part of the plan was to ensure that no matter what comes our way, we have a backup plan. So the preference, of course, is to have a physical interaction. But if we cannot have the physical interaction, we can move over and go to our online learning platform, and our students will be comfortable enough to use it. And so we are starting with the staggered day for the first 2 weeks with the intention of going in full if it is safe to do so. We are hoping that within these 2 weeks, and it's not really a full 2 weeks because we have 2 holidays in the 2 weeks, so it's actually 8 days. Of those 8 days, 4 will be physical days, and then the other days will be remote days. And the hope is, as I said, that once we finish that 2-week cycle, that we will be in a position where we can, our teachers are confident, our schools are confident that we can continue in full. Now so if there is a positive case, I know that some persons might have seen the notice today where we had to physically close one of our classes, and as we saw, it was just one class thus far at the Gingerland Secondary School. We closed the Form 5A3. And the protocol put in place today is the planned protocol. If we identify a potential positive case, we transition into contact tracing on the health front, and so we reached out to the Health Emergency Operations Center. We alerted them. We got the class list. We sent the class list, so they knew who to expect. We also contacted the parents, and the parents were then expected to take the students to the Health Emergency Operations Center to do the COVID test. Now, of course, once our students are being tested, and they would have to go into quarantine, and so it's important for parents to understand that if we reach out to you, you would have to be the ones to take the students, because of course they're minors, and so the authorities would have to give you the expectations. They would have to probably, if they have to, reach out to your employers, and they'll guide you through what is expected for the duration of the time period. So the parents will be contacted, and they'll be asked to take their children to the testing site. On the academic front, we would then immediately transition to remote learning. So the teachers for those students will be expected to keep the teaching and learning process going on online. How would that be? How would that happen?
We have a caller holding. Let's go to the line. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Good evening, Troy. How are you doing?
Oh, how are you, my brother?
I am doing pretty good. Good evening to you, and good evening to P.S. Barrett and P.O. Claxton.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Discussion tonight regarding schools and the young people. I want to first of all congratulate you, Minister Liburd, and your team, the PS and the PEO, and all of the folks at the Ministry and Department of Education for doing an outstanding job with the challenging times that we are going through. Since last year, you all have been under tremendous pressure, but you all have come out shining. I always wonder how the PEO and the PS could always remain so calm, even when they come to cabinet to make a presentation. Even the pressure that they're under, I know that they are under tremendous pressure, but they always seem so cool and calm and collected, and you all are doing a marvelous job despite the circumstances in trying to keep the school safe and trying to ensure that our children continue to learn. So I really want to commend you, Minister, and your entire team for the marvelous job that you all have been doing, and I know will continue to do. I think The education of our children are Nevis in good hands. Nevis is certainly in good hands. So congratulations once again for the great job. I also want to congratulate the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots for doing such a phenomenal job today. We couldn't have had a better finals to win in the last delivery. So congratulations to the entire team, and I want to congratulate the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis for hosting a wonderful tournament, to my brother John L. Powell, the Minister of Sports in the federal government, and the entire Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis for hosting a great tournament. I would also like at this time to extend some condolences because I lost two very special persons to me on Monday, Mrs. Joycelyn Liburd and Myrtle Liburd. Two very close friends, and it was a hard day on Monday to lose two of them at a blow. And so I want to extend heartfelt condolences to Magri and the entire family. Myrtle was, as I said, was a very good friend. Every time I visited the flamboyant home and she saw me, her face lit up. And of course we would have lost a stalwart in Gingerland, one of the pillars of Gingerland, a very selfless lady who would have given so much to Gingerland, so much to the teaching profession, and she was a hero for Gingerland. And so I want to extend condolences to my good friend and brother, Abo. I know I could recall very well when I first got onto a plane, when I was going to Trinidad, me and Abo were going to Trinidad to study. I could remember his mother saying, "You all stick with each other when you all go to Trinidad. Stick with each other." And I could never forget those words from Mrs. Liburd. So, Abo, take heart to you and the entire family. The other thing I called in about Troy, I just wanted to remind folks about our Culturama 47, the virtual edition. The rest of the activities are going to be taking place from tomorrow. Thursday we have the Culture Pot. On Friday we have the Soca Finals. On Saturday we have the Calypso Finals. On Sunday we have a Fashion Expo. Now all of these activities will be virtual, and so people will be asked to view online. And of course, if you were listening on the mark last week, you would recall that ABBA would have made an announcement there, which I think everybody loved, because previously we did indicate that the finals, the Soca and the Calypso would be pay-per-view, but we are now going to be streaming absolutely free. And so we are asking everyone in the Federation and across the globe to log on. You'll be getting the link to log on and to enjoy all of the shows. Of course, all 4 events will be streamed live. And I think ABBA would have said a lot about these shows. You would have promoted them a lot last week on the MARC program. But I want to touch on the event that we're having on Monday the 20th of September. That is a public holiday. And we are having an event on Monday. It is an event that is being hosted by the St. George's Development Committee, and it's going to be hosted at the David Freeman Center of Excellence, and it's an event dubbed Expo St. George. Now what we're trying to do in this Expo St. George is to expose or highlight or bring to the fore some of our small business owners in St. George's Gingerland. And so what we'll be doing, we're going to be having some of our businessmen and women there to display and sell products. And so so far we have confirmed 5 persons in the agriculture area. We have 3 in craft, we have 4 in clothing and textiles, we have 3 in pastry, and we have 2 in food. And we will also have entertainment from the masquerade, the David Dynasty masquerade. We'll have the 2 string bands from Gingerland, the Sugar Hill, as well as the Honeybee string band from Rollins, and we're going to have the Steel Pan group from Hanley's Road. And so we're going to be having everything Gingerland come Monday at the David Freeman Center. So as I said, our business men and women, our small business, our entrepreneurs, all from Gingerland, so we're exposing them, things for sale and on display. and then the entertainment package as well. All of the entertainment package persons are from Gingerland as well. So Gingerland
sounds like a full weekend
on Monday. Now I have to say as well that I'm looking forward very much to Monday, because I did indicate that we'll be having the steel band group it's a mixed group. We have 3 groups from Hanley's Road. We have a children's group, we have a teens group, and we have an adult group. But we have a mixed group that will be performing 2 songs. And Troy, I will be a part of that group on
Man,
Monday.
I come in to watch you.
So I will be playing the hand on Monday. Now, this is an event that persons can attend, but we want people to be responsible. All COVID-19 protocols will be observed. No one will be allowed in without a face mask. And so when you get to the gate, your temperature will be taken, your name will be recorded, your address and your phone number, that information will be recorded. As I said, your temperature will be recorded. We'll have security, and no one will be allowed into the premises without a face mask. And when you get inside, we're asking you to keep your face mask on. Of course, we would have heard tonight that COVID is something that we have to learn to live with. And so we are having this event. As I said, anyone can attend. And so we are asking persons from Gingerland and from wherever you want to come from, please come. But please be responsible when you get on the inside. Keep your face mask on. Keep your distance. The David Freeman Center of Excellence is big enough for us to have some social distancing. And so we are expecting persons to come and see what Gingerlanders have to offer for sale, what we have to offer in terms of entertainment. And I have to say as well that on show, on display, we will have those 6 wonderful pieces from the craft competition that was organized by Mrs. Sandra Brown Fleming and Community Development. So we have quite a lot to show you. On Monday, we are asking persons to come and show your support. It's absolutely free. You do not have to pay to come in David Freeman Center. But once again, we're asking you, when you come, please be responsible and observe the protocols. And so we're going to climax things for the virtual Culturama as well as Independence, because this is a part of the Independence celebration as well. Expo Gingerland, where you come and experience all things Gingerland.
Thank you very much, Eric.
You're most welcome.
And certainly, I think you've given us a lot to look forward to. Certainly the Culturama events, the Soca Mana Calypso.
And Troy, one other thing, I forgot to mention that on Monday, part of the event, the expo will be streamed live, and for persons who cannot attend in person, you will be able to see all of the performances from the entertainment package. It will be live streamed. For persons who are overseas, look out for the link. Those who are here, look out for the link, because those who cannot attend, you'll be able to see the action from the David Freeman Center on live stream come Monday.
Thanks a lot. That's a lot of information. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On the Mark. We have just about 20 minutes more. And in the grand scheme of things, 20 minutes is not a lot of time when you're talking on radio. The lines are still open, of course. We could never shut out the public. But I want to switch up just a little bit. We have a call? Okay, let's go back to the lines. We can't keep our calls out. Caller, you're on the mark.
Hi, Mr. Liburd.
Yes.
Again. I forgot to set the price of the package. Okay, it's only $25. Quite reasonable.
Of course, we
For
expected
the
that.
bag and the water bottle.
Okay.
So it's quite reasonable.
Yes, very much so.
So it's $25 EC. Quite affordable.
Yes.
See you.
I agree. Take care. Okay, so with COVID-19, a lot has been said about, and you know, this is me talking now. A lot has been said about vaccinations, and over the past few months here in St. Kitts and Nevis, we have been fortunate, where many other places have not been so fortunate, to have access to vaccines. We have a caller? Okay, let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Liburd. How are
Yes,
you doing?
good evening. Wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. Mr. Liburd, this is Fitzroy Williams.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing quite well. I'm calling on behalf of NEVDC to just alert our supporters and all divisions in the area about our upcoming NEVDC Under the Banquet on September 25th. That's next week. It's at the Martin's Crosswind in Greenbelt, Maryland. We start promptly at 8 p.m. The event lists 7 to 8, but from 7 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
But from 7 to 8 it's just a mingling hour, but the event starts promptly at 8 p.m. We've now passed the cutoff date for early bird.
Mm-hmm.
So the entrance now is $110, and you may go online at nev-dc.org to purchase tickets. All ticket sales are being handled online, by the way. One issue came up to me today is that we earlier announced that the rooms at the hotel have been blocked for, some rooms have been blocked for our use at the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And people are calling and they're saying NEVDC. Well, you must say Division Association of Washington, D.C. Because when they say NEVDC, they don't recognize that organization. This year's honorees, Mr. Liburd, are Levi Maynard, Common Sergeant Major Levi Maynard, Master Sergeant Anthony Pemberton, Lieutenant Colonel Clayton Sutton, Sergeant Denise Ward, Sergeant Walford Wally Pemberton, Sergeant First Class Karen Holiday Williams, Master Sergeant Spencer Howell, and Sergeant Claudette Selgridge. All are from the U.S. Army except Anthony Pemberton, who's from the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Mr. Liburd, earlier we decided not to hold the usual brunch on the Sunday, but we decided to go ahead and hold it, but it will be held outside this time. We will announce the location at the event that evening. One thing is outside, so we're going to try and spread out. We will have chairs, and if anyone has, those picnic chairs at home, just put them in your trunk and bring them along so you can use them. So just to spread out if you want to. And I think that's it. So again, it's September 25th, Martin's Crosswind in Greenbelt, Maryland. Oh, the number for the hotel, it's a Holiday Inn hotel. And of course, there are other hotels in the area. You don't have to choose Holiday Inn. But the Holiday Inn hotel is just a stone throw away. The number for the hotel is 301-982-7000. That's 301-992-7000. That's the direct line to the hotel and not the national line. Thank you, Mr. Liburd.
Thank you very much, Mr. Williams. And
let me say hello, and by the way, let me say congrats to the Patriots and to Colin Archibald from Brownsville. Even though he didn't get a play, I'm encouraging him to keep pursuing his dream.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You have a wonderful night.
You have a wonderful night, Mr. Liburd.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to On the Mark. 15 minutes more. 15 minutes is like 1 minute when you're on the radio, right? Okay, so I was saying just a little bit about the very, very serious vaccination. And I want to take the opportunity to appeal, to our teachers and our auxiliary staff and so on, those persons who are working day to day and are coming in contact with our children. I want to make the appeal to you to come forward. Those who have not gotten the vaccination as yet, and you don't have a health reason, you have not been given instructions from a medical practitioner to say that you you're not a good candidate to take the vaccine, to come forward and to join with us, to take the vaccine and to help us to protect our children. Every day you will go to school with the younger ones, and you have to form that buffer for them against COVID-19. You know, being in the Ministry of Education, it is our duty to ensure that we take care of the young ones who are left in our charge day to day. You know, parents send these children out to school, and the children sometimes spend more time with the teachers and with the school than you spend with your parents, because every day you're in school 5 days per week for 8-9 hours per day, and then by the time you go home you have some dinner, do your homework, and you have a little bit of interaction, and you're going off to sleep. In the morning now you're just getting ready to go to school. So you spend a lot of time in school, and what happens in school has a big part to play in the lives of our students. So I want to take the opportunity to encourage those of you, the teachers, who have not gone or come forward to take the vaccination, to do so. I mean, I was a bit disappointed when I learned that, such a large proportion of the teaching fraternity remains unvaccinated. Of course, I want to thank those who have come forward to take the vaccination. I know that there are some who say, look, for me personally, I don't believe in the vaccination, but because I'm doing it to protect the children, I'm doing it to protect my children, for those who have children and those who have family, and we want to thank those persons. And people who have not come forward, we want to encourage you. I've heard so many different things about vaccinations since we've had the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. Everybody is now an expert on coronavirus. Coronaviruses have been around for such a long time, and we never used to hear anything about it. Vaccinations have been around for such a long time. I remember when I was little, we went and we got our vaccinations, and I'm sure year after year people go forward and they get their vaccinations. When we get little children, you take them to the health center for their regular checkups, and one of the things that they get when they go to the health center is a shot. It's a vaccination, the same way. And we don't hear any conspiracy theories and so on about those shots. But lo and behold, COVID-19 comes around. It's a big thing for the press. The press gets involved. There are all sorts of stories about COVID-19 and about vaccines and so on, and everybody has now become an expert. But vaccinations, they've helped us to get rid of so many different things: measles, mumps, all of these things. I think recently there was something on the news about measles and a measles outbreak. I think it's with some of the folks who have come out of Afghanistan, in that big exodus that the US government had out of Afghanistan, in some of the camps that they have some of the refugees in. They've had some outbreaks of measles, and so they're getting them vaccinated in order to bring them to the United States. In the Western world, measles has all but been eradicated because of vaccines. So vaccines have really played an important part in our lives. We don't hear about chicken pox and smallpox and all of those things around here today, and it's because of vaccination. So it's not anything that is alien to us. It's not anything that we have not been taking all the time. I remember when I needed to go to university, one of the things that I had to do was to go and get a medical card. I didn't even remember about that. And then there were some shots that you needed to take to go to leave to go to college. And I remember I went to the nurse took a look at my card, and I think they said, well, you need to take this shot and this shot and this shot. Come back and such and such a day. I didn't go and ask them, well, what's inside of the shot or all of these different questions. I just came back on the day that I was told to go back. I don't like needles, so I turned my face the other way and I squirmed. I took the injection and that was it. They updated my card and then I was off. And these are things that happen regularly, and these are vaccines. So why all of a sudden all the conspiracy theories about this particular one? We have a call on the line. I think we're going to make this our last call, or perhaps our second to last call. And then I'll give...
Again, Eric.
Hello?
Eric, Troy, good night. It's me again. Eric.
Oh, good night. How are you?
Call back, but someone just reminded me that I did not set the time for the event on Monday.
Okay.
It's from 2 p.m. until 10 p.m.
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
So we'll probably allow one more call, and then I'll give both of you an opportunity for a wrap-up. But before I do that, I want to join also Honorable Eric Evelyn, who called in, and send out my condolences to the family of Myrtle Liburd. That was a big oversight on my part, being that I'm from Coal Hill and they're from Coal Hill also. I don't know how I could have made such an oversight. Of course, Magri and Tassian, Beverick, Ellis, Jabas, all of the family, I want to send out my condolences. So, you know, such a sad thing when I heard about her passing, you know, recently. So let's see how we do this. So Pierce, I let you give your final remarks. You have about 2-3 minutes to do that.
Okay. Well, thank you, Troy. As you reminded me earlier to refer to you tonight as Troy. It has always been for me a pleasing experience to always bring information from the Ministry of Education, because I think a lot of persons have, you know, superficial view of what happens in education, and so when I get opportunities like these, I really like to you know, highlight some of the things that we do. So I'm hopeful that tonight that some individuals have listened to us and they are more confident that what we are doing, we really and truly have the health and safety of our students at heart, health and safety of our teaching staff and the auxiliary staff at all of the schools, because everyone involved in education is important to us, and we try to do as much as we could to ensure that we provide the best quality education that we could offer for one and all to have that experience, and they could feel that there is some value in being in a school setting. There's some value in doing their work online, and all of the efforts that we are putting forward at the Ministry and Department of Education is for the benefit especially of our youngsters who are of school age. And I would like to end and wishing the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis happy Independence 38. We are truly moving on. COVID has given us a little pullback in the activities that we usually have when it comes to independence, the parades and all of these things. But indeed, we could still celebrate that we are 38 years on in independence. So I say happy independence to one and all, and it was a pleasure once again being in the studios of One Radio.
Thank you very much. Pio, you have the same 3 minutes.
All right. I think that I want to sum up by asking parents to continue to provide the necessary supports for us, and to ask questions, to seek information from from valid sources. So if you're not clear, if you're not sure, just reach out to your schools, your principals, your child's teacher, the department or Ministry of Education, so that you can get the information. Our job is to serve you and to serve our students, to serve our teachers, and we intend to continue to do so, and so we're asking you to continue to partner with us. To remind your children daily of the protocols. As I said, the virus needs bodies on which to hop between, and so if we do and implement the protocols as we should be able to minimize the spread of the virus. Children, sometimes they keep forgetting to wear their mask or forgetting to sanitize their hands, so if we practice those things at home, those protocols at home, and reinforce them, it will be much easier for the teachers. Talk to your children about what's going on. So it's not about getting them into a panic attack when it comes to being in a contact tracing situation or having to revert to remote instruction, but talk to them if they have to go through those experiences, and keep children at home, and also our adults stay at home, teachers, staff members stay at home if you feel sick. I know that some persons are afraid to say that they're sick or they have COVID because they feel that there's going to be a stigma attached. I think we've gone beyond that. There's no stigma. There should not be a stigma attached to contracting the virus, but we don't want to contract the virus. And finally, I want to say thank you to the entire team for making this possible. Minister Evelyn asked how we kept going. We kept going because it's a team effort, and that there's no single individual. And so our team encompasses the entire ministry and Department of Education, and we spread right through the schools. So thank you to all the staff members there at the ministry and department, and of course our schools, our principals, our other school leaders, teachers, ancillary staff, all of our cleaners, crossing guards, and of course our bus drivers and maintenance team, and so our crossing guards, everyone who has contributed to the success of this effort and who will continue to contribute to the success of this effort. We appreciate you, and we appreciate all that you have done and the sacrifices that you continue to make this happen. So thank you very much.
I want to thank both of you for consenting to be here tonight. I know when I asked, both of you jumped up and said yes, and you know you work so hard. You could do it nights off too, but tonight we had to take the nights. I'm very, very appreciative of it, and I want to echo what PEO just said in thanking all of the staff within the Ministry and Department of Education, our EOs or other staff at the Ministry and Department level, all of our staff in the schools, the principals, the teachers, the auxiliary staff, the cleaners, everybody who work really, really hard to ensure that we can bring our students into the schools and have a safe environment. Of course, I want to thank the parents for cooperating with us, and we want to crave your indulgence to continue to cooperate with the ministry, cooperate with the schools. We know that it's not going to be 100% perfect every time. We're going to call on you to do odd things because of the times that we are living in, and we ask you to be patient with us and to be understanding, and we want to thank you for the patience that you have already been showing and the goodwill that you have been showing. We want to beg for a little bit more, because we have to work together as a team to make this happen. Again, I want to appeal to those of our teachers and so on who have not gone out to get that vaccination to get vaccinated. It's important for us as a country. It's important that we protect our children, and so I want to give you that last bit of encouragement to go out and do that. And as my final word now, I want to wish everybody a happy 38th Independence. When it comes in on Sunday, St. Kitts and Nevis, we are a beautiful country. Sugar City, St. Kitts and Queen City, Nevis, we are small, but we have a lot of things to be thankful for. The standard of living that we enjoy here in the Federation is comparable to pretty much anywhere in the world. So I want to encourage all of us to do what we can to protect St. Kitts and Nevis, to protect the life that we live, to ensure that the way we are living today and the way we have lived for the past 15, 20 years, that those who are coming after us would have an equal or better standard of living. And the things that we do now, the things that we do today, is what is going to determine the way how future generations will live. Thank you very much for that. The show is going to be replayed tomorrow at 1. We certainly enjoyed the show. Again, I want to thank P.S. Barrett and P.E.O. Claxton for coming, and to all our listeners and our callers, thank you. Do have a wonderful night.
The views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited or